Part 5. The Reports. Alexander Jared Hans Batter, from the 18th day of January 2012, inclusive or near Vancouver, in the province of British Columbia, did, without lawful authority, and knowing that another person was harassed or was reckless to whether the other person was harassed. Just because I talked to her after I was told not to, doesn't mean I harassed her. I continued to talk to her because she occasionally continued to converse with me via email and in person, thus nullifying both police warnings. There was only one day that excessive calls were made after she told me that it's over forever. Engage in conduct that caused that other person, Alanna, to reasonably fear for her safety or for the safety of anyone known to her, contrary to Section 264 of the Criminal Code. Although it is stated numerously that she feared for her safety, it is also stated numerously that she did not fear for her safety. She later admitted that she doesn't think I'd ever harm her, I never would, and if she was so scared of me, then why did she come out of nowhere to bug me twice? I have never seen so many contradictions. Had I actually harassed her, it would only have been criminal had she actually feared for her safety. When I thought she was lying to the police, when they gave me the false assumption that I had contacted her earlier that day because they were too impatient to get clarification as to why they were called, because they were already on her side, to stop her from continuing to lie to them so that they wouldn't eventually arrest me, I justifiably threatened to send the tagged conversation to all of her friends. That couldn't have made her fear for her safety, for all she had to do was cease lying to the police. It is ironic that the email sent to stop an arrest actually made one, but I thought it was a lose-lose situation. I never engaged in threatening conduct that wasn't justified, nor did I ever even try to scare her. I was actually trying to make peace. Section 264 on criminal harassment. No person shall, without lawful authority and knowing that another person is harassed, or recklessly as to whether the other is harassed, engage in conduct referred to in subsection 2 that cause the other person reasonable, in all circumstances, to fear for their safety or for the safety of anyone known to them. Then he provides a link, which I am assuming is the definition of criminal harassment. Criminal harassment refers to threatening conduct that causes an individual to fear for their safety. Criminal harassment is a pattern of threats and actions that can frighten you. Then he links to the Vancouver Police's website, which gives a definition for domestic violence and criminal harassment. No assault. I knew it! Firearms interest. The fuck? So I guess this is where Mr. Bedecker got the information about him being a firearms owner, which I still kind of don't think he was. I don't know what this report's about, and it doesn't seem like Alex does either. The two started out as friends and then began dating just over a year ago. Just over 3 years ago, actually. A few months ago, Alanna broke things off with Alexander and tried to remain friends with him. No, I was the one that wanted to just be friends. She kept bugging me to have sex with her again. After regrettably trusting her, we promised to only have sex with each other again. We allowed each other to date other people, but we had to inform each other if we were going to have sex with somebody else. Then I kept asking her how we weren't technically boyfriend and girlfriend again. After all, we were only having sex with each other again. I wondered why she didn't want to include the titles. We were still in a closed relationship again, and she kept assuring me that she wouldn't have sex with anyone else. She told me that she was going to meet that guy, but never told me she was going to have sex with him. Because she ignored my numerous phone calls around the time she was going to meet him, I doubt that she ever planned to tell me that she was going to have sex with him. She never told me after that she was going to tell me that she was going to have sex with him, nor did she tell me that she lied just to meet him. All that came out of her mouth was bullshit that kept digging her into a deeper hole. The only thing she didn't want were the boyfriend and girlfriend titles. A few days ago, Alanna advised Alexander that it would be best if they stopped contacting each other, as she didn't want to work things out and needed time to concentrate on her schooling. That never happened before January 19th. She even admitted later on that she first told me that it's over forever in mid-February. Over the past few days, couple days meaning 2. Few means 3 or more, which wasn't the case. Alexander had been calling Alanna's telephone 40 to 50 times per day. Yeah, when I discovered that she cheated on me, and when I wanted her to convince me that it was all just a misunderstanding. Alanna has only answered a few of the calls to tell Alexander that she isn't interested in seeing him anymore. Lies! She never told me that! She did answer a few of the calls, but only to add fuel to the fire, like when she basically told me that she lied to have sex with me, that she was going to have sex with that guy because he asked her to, and when she let her friend tell me that he was going to have sex with her later that day. Because of her opening the door every now and then to further stab me in the heart, when she finally kept it shut, I literally couldn't stop calling. I just wanted her to take the pain away, to convince me that everything was just a big misunderstanding, but she wouldn't. Instead, she stabbed me in the heart yet again when she told the police to tell me to never talk to her again. Bad donkey, bad! She never told the police that we planned to hang out on February 8th, quite a few days after the first police warning. She pretends that never happened to artificially stretch the bullshit harassment timeline. Alanna has seen Alexander's phone number on call display and hasn't been answering the rest of the phone calls as she does not wish to speak with him, because of her stupid belief that I was the troll. She is also advised that she is not afraid of him, but just wants to be left alone. See? She isn't afraid of her, nor did she have any reason to be afraid. Yet it is stated numerously that she fears for her safety, and numerously that she does not fear for her safety. What a load of contradicting bullshit. Maybe I feared for my safety when she was waiting for me to walk up to her at the intersection that night. What if she bit me again? I literally had more of a reason to fear her. Alexander advised that he was only calling because he missed Alanna and wanted to try to speak with her to patch things up. Actually, I was only calling because I wanted her to convince me that everything was just a big misunderstanding. Unfortunately, I had gotten it right the first time. She's a lying, cheating whore that's running away from her guilt. Police advised Alexander that he is to cease all direct and indirect contact from Alanna, as per her wishes. Yet later on, when I ran into her, she told me that we'd hang out again in 5 months. But the police said forever, I explained. It's my choice and not theirs, she replied as if they hadn't spoken for her. I later got her down to 1 month, and then finally down to 1 week, but only if I brought along my new girlfriend to prove to her that she's real. Either she kept lying to me about hanging out again, or she didn't know what she truly wanted when she told the police to tell me to never to talk to her again. Alanna was in a relationship with Alexander Bader for approximately 3 years, and it only ended July 2012 when they stayed friends. Actually, that's when we had entered into an open relationship for a while. We were never just friends again, for we had never truly stopped having sex with each other once we started. I did refuse to have sex with her because she was being mean, and I hated the open relationship mainly due to the fact that she couldn't communicate. The nightclub incident. She got so annoyed that she promised to only have sex with me, just so that she could have sex with me. She lied and therefore had fraudulently gained my consent when we French kissed in her room and got intimate. She's a rapist, but thankfully, her psycho mom interrupted us before we could actually have sex, and the troll gave me the truth before we were able to hang out again. Had the troll never done so, we would have had sex numerously, while she secretly continued to have sex with the rest of the planet behind my back. She would have given me every STD, while I thought she was loyal. Because we had promised each other to only have sex with each other again, we had entered back into the closed relationship just before I ended our friendship altogether when I found out she cheated. All she did was refuse to revive it, and I'm glad that she did, as I was stupidly brainwashing myself to believe that I ruined everything. I thought that maybe I misunderstood her true intentions, that maybe she lied to the troll just to meet him. She might have been able to convince me that that was the case. However, too much bullshit kept coming out of her mouth. I knew for a fact what she was really going to do when she couldn't answer the question that I asked her whether or not she was really going to have sex with that guy. Her lips merely quivered before she walked away through her gate. Approximately 1 month prior to this report, 2013, February 13th, Alanna states she ended it. You mean 2013, January 18th, the day the troll sent me the conversation? I ended our friendship and that was on that day. She only refused to revive it, and I later realized that she had given me a gift when she did, and told Bader to leave her alone and stop contacting her. That was 2013, February 11th, 2 days prior to the report and not 2013, January 18th, approximately 1 month prior. She ended our friendship after I found out that she had cheated on me? Other way around. It doesn't matter that she told me to leave her alone and stop contacting her, for she continued to converse with me via email and in real life. Actions speak louder than words. Unfortunately, he continues to call her. That's back when I was stupidly trying to revive our friendship. I kept calling her when she cheated, and again when she lied about being sick on the day we were supposed to hang out again, because I had already endured so many days of heart stabbing, cowardly silence, and couldn't bottle the pain any longer. I basically stopped calling her excessively after she told me that it's over forever. Excluding one day when she hung up on me, that's when I moderately or hardly continued to call her, and she was occasionally conversing with me via email and in person. Alanna broke off the relationship. I broke it off. She only refused to revive it, due to Alexander's controlling behavior. Because apparently, I was the troll. Again, if I actually was, how does acting upon suspicions, and I actually was suspicious although I never acted upon it, to uncover the truth, make you controlling? Would ignoring them, which is actually what I was doing as the truth was merely handed to me, to continue living a lie, be better? You're just mad because I escaped living the lie you created. Your plan to have sex with me, while continuing to have sex with everyone else behind my back, backfired. On 2013, February 11th, Alanna was walking out of her front apartment building when Batter confronted her. I didn't confront her. There was never any hostile or argumentative intent. I coincidentally spotted her from afar when I heard her gate close while walking back home from Culprit, where I drank a hot chocolate. That's when I walked diagonally onto the grass toward her. She had told me that she couldn't hang out 3 days earlier because she was sick, but I knew she was lying. I had thought our friendship was reviving and wanted to know why she was ignoring me again. It looked like I had waited for her to come out from behind a few non-obscuring bushes that were between us when I talked to her, but I hadn't. I should have approached her differently, but I didn't think about it at the time. There he put his arms around her. That's not when I hugged her. I hugged her after we turned right onto you. She told him to let her go. She did not. She silently stood there like a statue. I let go once I realized she wasn't going to hug me back. On 2013, February 13th, Alanna received some phone calls from Alex and decided that she needed to speak to the police at this time. A few phone calls are what made her report the incident 2 days later, instead of on the same day. Also odd how we were supposed to hang out just 5 days earlier. So much hate surged out of nowhere. Police advised Alanna to contact her cell phone provider to get assistance while blocking Alex's number. All I did after the day we planned to hang out again was run into her a couple of times, hug and hold her, act like a crybaby, and email and call her a few times. Did I really deserve her telling me that it's over forever, to die when I fell down and cried, and to tell the police to tell me never to talk to her again? All within 5 days after we planned to hang out again. She doesn't realize that my behavior was solely due to her breaking my heart by cheating, and then constantly toying with it by ignoring me and giving me false hope that our friendship could be revived. Why lie about hanging out again the following week? I couldn't endure the pain anymore, so I acted like a big baby when I ran into her again. She still does not have a clue what kind of torment she put me through. Then she was advised to block my number? A little fast and excessive, no? I hadn't even called her that many times after she told me that it was over forever. Why not fly away to the moon while you're at it? She tried to bury me under a rock from her life for being severely messed up, even though she was the one that severely messed me up. She's nothing but a coward for running away from taking responsibility for her actions. All she ever had to do to calm me down was stop ignoring me, stop playing games, and apologize for everything she did to me. She doesn't understand that for every reaction, there must have been an equal action. She made me feel like a freak even though she was the source of my behavior, which she still doesn't understand. At no time did Alanna indicate that there was ever any violence by Alex toward her. That's because there wasn't any. Odd that she kept trying to convince me that I assaulted her. On 2013, March 14th, Alanna called the police to report that Alexander Batter was still harassing her. She listened to me and occasionally conversed with me via email and in real life. She also did not fear for her safety. Therefore, she was not being harassed. She had also received a disturbing email from him earlier that day, as well as a few over the past few days. Disturbing because she disturbed me. Batter had also been waiting for her at the bus stop near her home. I wasn't waiting for her at the bus stop. We happened to be using it around the same time every Monday and Wednesday morning, so every now and then we'd arrive there at the same time. Where he tries to talk with her, we did talk. I asked her a few questions and she answered, and gets on her bus. Our bus. On 2010, August 6th, Alanna's mother called 911 as Alexander Batter was refusing to leave. Alanna requested that I stayed with her that night. Alanna's mother believes Batter is controlling and psychologically abusive of her daughter, Alanna. Alanna's mother is controlling and psychologically abusive of her daughter. She is also embarrassingly overprotective, the two would constantly fight, and Alanna would always tell me how much she hates her. I believe that she is the main reason why Alanna became a lying, cheating whore. The overprotectiveness is clearly having a reverse effect. She's suffocating her. On 2013, January 19th, Alanna calls the police to report 40 to 50 phone calls a day, that day and the day before when I discovered that she cheated on me. From her ex-boyfriend. Batter states he was just trying to talk with Alanna as she wasn't answering any of his calls. She actually had answered a few of them. She told me that she had promised to only have sex with me because I was being annoying. I only could have been annoying by refusing to have sex with her. Therefore, she felt she had to lie in order to trick me into consenting. She had also told me that she was going to have sex with that guy because he asked her to. Then she let her friend tell me that he was going to have sex with her later on. After cheating, she had opened a door a few times merely to add fuel to the fire before closing it and leaving it shut. My heart was so engulfed with flames that I felt like I was going to die. Every second was pure torture. I literally couldn't stop calling because the pain was so strong, and I just wanted her to convince me that she had done nothing wrong to put out the flames. Instead, she let the police tell me to never to talk to her again. It's as if she killed me when she cheated, and then died when the police told me to never talk to her again. Police advised Batter to cease all contact with Alanna as per her wishes. Yet she told me later that we'd hang out the following week, but only if I brought along my new girlfriend to prove to her that she's real. She had told me that it's her choice and not the choice of the police that counts. I thought the police spoke for her. The following week had rolled by, she lied about being sick, and ignored me again. All I ever wanted was for her to convince me that she did nothing wrong, but instead, she continued to play sick games with my broken heart. They broke up about 1 month prior of this report, 2013, February 13th, 2013, January 18th, the day that I ended our friendship when I found her waiting for that guy at Starbucks, due to his jealous behavior. She refused to revive her friendship due to her stupid and unimportant belief that I had something to do with the troll. Had I actually had anything to do with the troll, that wouldn't have meant that I was jealous, controlling, or possessive. That would have meant that I was suspicious and rightfully acted upon it to reveal the truth. That I didn't want to risk wasting my life by living a lie. I was actually suspicious, but chose to bottle it and perhaps live a lie. The truth is merely given to me. You chose to believe the worst to shield your guilt. On 2013, February 11th, the day I turned a quarter of a century old, okay, happy birthday, game dude. In the morning, Batter approached Alanna at the front of her building, after coincidentally spotting her from afar, and put his arms around her. I hugged her by impulse, devastated, and thought she was going to hug me back. It's not like I squeezed her, it was just a normal hug, in a guise of trying to talk to her. Guise of trying to talk to her? Perhaps I had hugged her to prevent her from entering her gate or bus, but we were away from both. We were not in front of her apartment, we had just turned right onto you. I didn't hug her to keep talking to her, nor did I need to. I could have merely continued to walk with her had I merely wanted to continue talking to her, and I did continue to walk with her to talk to her for a while shortly after. Alanna told him to go. She did not. She said and did nothing. And she broke free. She did not break free. She stood there like a statue. She would not have been able to break free from my super strong orangutan grip. I let her go once I realized she wasn't going to hug me back. She did not call the police at this time. She did so regarding the incident 2 days later, after I had called her a few times. There has never been any violence between the two, according to Alanna. See, she acknowledges to the police that I was never violent toward her, and yet told her mom that I attacked her, kept trying to convince me that I assaulted her, and told my mom that I assaulted her several days in a row by her house. I briefly and non-violently hugged her and held her, but I never assaulted her. Even the police on the report said there was no assault, and there has been violence between us, but all from her. Does no assault merely mean no criminal assault? Could attacked merely have meant emotionally attacked? Did she mean to type times in a row and not days? Perhaps she viewed the assaults hug and hold, as non-violent. Still, why did she have to report them when I never reported her actual assaults, slapping me very hard on the chest at least 6 times throughout our relationship, and biting me out of anger, that are far worse? It's ironic that she assaulted me numerously, for she's a lawyer, and therefore a representative of the law. She never knew better? Why did she report the fact that I briefly followed her locally after coincidentally spotting her from afar, when I never reported the fact that she persisted to follow me 2 cities away from her home after purposefully running into me? To continue to shield her guilt? I think so. Unfair, ironic, and hypocritical coward. On 2013, March 4th, Alanna called the police to report that her ex-boyfriend was still harassing her. I never harassed her. She negatively conversed with me via email and real life. She replied to quite a few of my emails, read all of my messages, and occasionally stopped to listen to what I had to say in real life. She was not completely ignoring me. She even took and wore the necklace I gave to her and did not fear for her safety. She also received a disturbing email from him earlier that day. Probably one of the ones that called out her bullshit. Alanna advised that Alexander Bader has continued to harass her since her police report on February 13th. That's a load of bullshit. Via email alone, she was insulting me, trying to convince me that I assaulted her, and yelling at me to get Game Dude Official to remove her videos, even though I have no control over that channel. In real life, she answered a few of the questions I calmly asked her when I ran into her at the bus stop, and always respected her space. She's clearly blowing things out of proportion to compensate for her guilt. On 2013, March 14th, he sent her a long, disturbing email. Again, probably calling her out on her bullshit. On 2013, March 13th, Bader was waiting at Alanna's usual spot at the bus stop at Vine and 4th that she takes to UBC. Our usual bus stop at the time being. I had arrived there coincidentally a few minutes before her. I was also heading to UBC but for tennis lessons. Did she not see the tennis racket that I was holding? He tried to talk to her. I did talk to her. I asked her a few questions that she answered, and then respectfully left her alone. And got on a bus. Our bus. I didn't want to be late for my tennis lessons. Alanna became uncomfortable and she got off at the next stop and took a different bus. Actually, the bus driver kept telling her to squeeze inside, but there wasn't enough room for her. She was in the way of the doors. She left in frustration. On 2013, March 12th, Bader was waiting at Alanna's usual bus stop at Vine and 4th. The dates are wrong. I only ever ran into her Monday or Wednesday. Again, I had arrived there coincidentally a few minutes before her. Again, I was also heading to UBC, but for tennis lessons. And tried talking to her. Again, I did talk to her. I asked her a few questions that she answered, and then respectfully left her alone. That might have been the day that I saw her wearing the necklace I gave to her 1 month prior. 2013, March 13th, Bader sent her an email. Probably one of the ones she replied to. 2013, March 11th, Bader sent her 2 emails. Why does it matter when she replied to converse with a bunch of them? Alanna does not believe that Bader has a real reason to be on her bus, other than to try being with her. She can believe whatever she wants in her imaginary little world. Bader told her that he was taking tennis lessons at UBC, but she does not believe it. Just like she doesn't believe that I had nothing to do with the troll. She chooses to believe the worst to shield her guilt. Alanna believes that he resides around Arbutus and 12th. Maple and 12th, actually. Wait, she believed that I lived a tad closer? That makes her slightly more ridiculous. He has had little contact with his parents. No contact, actually. I can't forgive them for robbing something that belonged to me. He was already given 2 warnings by the police. Both nullified due to the fact that she continued to converse with me via email and in real life. She even planned to hang out with me after the first police warning. Alanna did agree to a couple of things, which included sending the emails from Bader since the first police warning in January. Seems to enjoy getting on Alanna's bus to UBC. It was actually rather stressful continuously running into her, but of course I always took the advantage of the situation by asking her questions that she answered. Her behavior didn't make any sense as I did nothing wrong. Now I understand that she hates talking to me because I remind her of her self-hatred for cheating on me. What a shameless coward. Alanna had not sent the emails that she promised she would. Of course not. They clash with her accusation of harassment, especially since you can tell that a lot of them are responses to her. On 2013, June 24th, Alanna called the police to report that Batter had followed her from 4th and Vine to her home. That's just a false assumption that she made. She later admitted that she merely thought I had seen her exit the bus, like she assumed I must have, and then planned for our paths to cross. Truth is, I was at Culprit at the time where the bus stop is invisible. You know, had I never moved close to her, I would have avoided so much bullshit. Alanna's mother told the police that Batter had been harassing both parties for the past few months. Both? I never even wanted to talk to the mom. In fact, she came out of nowhere to bug me twice. As for Alanna, she had occasionally, albeit negatively, conversed with me via email and in real life. Hell, she came out of nowhere to bug me twice. It's not like they were both completely ignoring me. Both parties do not fear for their safety. See? Now it states that they do not fear for their safety. Contradicting morons. Batter was told not to contact Alanna or her mother directly or indirectly. I told them to tell Alanna to leave me alone. They wouldn't listen to my story because I refused to give them my address. Batter said that he understood the police and would not bother either party again. How the fuck did the stupid mom intertwine herself into the equation? I had hardly ever tried to talk to her. The police attempted to get an address from Batter, but he denied. I didn't want police to bug me at my home. Alanna and Batter were in an on and off relationship for approximately 2.5 years. No, we entered a closed relationship, and then an open one for a while, and then back into a closed one. We were together for around 3 years. As of January 2013, Batter has been harassing Alanna and her mother. I never even wanted to talk to the mom, never harassed either of them, and all I ever wanted was to make peace. Doesn't matter that Alanna told me a few times that she doesn't want contact anymore, for minds can be changed. Although I don't want hers changed anymore, and actions speak louder than words. She kept nullifying her words and that of the police. Since the first police warning, she's planned to hang out with me again the following week if I brought along my new girlfriend to prove to her that she's real. Jokingly told me to dump the girl in front of her, and bugged me to have sex with her again. Since the second police warning, she read all of my messages, occasionally stopped to look me in the eyes and listen to me, occasionally conversed with me via email and in real life, willingly took the presents and letter from my hand, and twice came out of nowhere to initiate contact. Alanna is confident that Batter moved to the Kitsilano neighborhood from New Westminster to be close to her residence. She wanted me to live close to her. She kept threatening to stop visiting me at my former home in New Westminster, for it was too far. I had also moved there just before she had cheated, and she even visited me once there at my former home there, where she continued to bug me to have sex, even though it wasn't furnished yet. Alanna does not know the current address for Batter, but believes that he lives near 12th and Arbutus. 12th and Maple. Wait, she believed that I lived slightly closer? That makes her slightly more ridiculous. On 2013, January 19th, Alanna called the police to report 40 to 50 phone calls a day from Batter. I called her excessively when she cheated on me, January 18th to 19th, lied about being sick, February 8th to 10th, and then one other day after she hung up on me when I was drunk. In total, I called her excessively, approximately 30 calls per day, for 6 days, and 5 were before she told me that it's over forever. Between and after those days, I went to usually calling her from 0 to 3 times a day, to 0 to 3 times per month. I even ceased all contact with her for over 30 days, almost the entirety of April. Did she mention that? No? Of course not. Referring to the day she cheated on me, instead of trying to apologize or trying to convince me that she did nothing wrong, she cowardly kept ignoring me because of her stupid belief that I had something to do with the troll. She picked up the phone a few times just to stab me in the heart a few more times before she kept the door shut again. I literally couldn't stop calling because my heart ached so much. Finally, she let the police tell me to never talk to her again. Heartless bitch. On 2013, February 11th, Batter approached Alanna in front of her apartment building. After coincidentally spotting her from afar when I heard her gate close on my way back home from Culprit, and put his arms around her, I hugged her. Not in front of her apartment, but after we turned onto U Street, and not to keep talking to her, I merely would have continued to walk with her had I solely wanted to do that, but by impulse because I knew in my heart she was gone forever. I thought she was going to hug me back, but perhaps she didn't because she's heartless, selfish, thought I was stalking her, or couldn't get over her stupid and unimportant belief that I was the troll. It's not like I squeezed her. She's acting like Rain Man. Trying to talk to her. Her behavior wasn't logical for the last time we had spoken on the phone. Our friendship seemed to be reviving. She had even bugged me to have sex with her again. I had not a clue why she was ignoring me again. She had left me in the dark, and I just wanted answers. I couldn't tolerate the mind games any longer. How hard could it have been to stop and communicate with me for a little while? Alanna told Batter to let her go. Unless she whispered it, my loud crying, along with the random, intervening man, drowned her out, and I wasn't looking at her lips. She stood there like a statue and said nothing. And she broke free. She did not break free. She wouldn't have been able to break free. I have super strong orangutan arms. I let her go once I realized she wasn't going to hug me back. Batter followed her for a while as Alanna was trying to walk away. I thought she was walking a bit fast because she was late to school. I approached her after spotting her around 10:15 a.m. and thought she was supposed to start school at 9:30 a.m. I didn't know that she actually started school at 11 a.m. that day. She never clearly, both physically, she never ran, or vocally, she never told me to go away, informed me to go away, although she did emote it, but I was too enslaved by my own emotions to notice at that time. My mind wasn't focused on analytically assessing her to form logical assumptions as to whether or not she truly wanted me to go away, for I was too busy having to act like a big baby. I couldn't think clearly because my heart ached too much. I was bottling too much pain, and it exploded when I saw her ignore me yet again. On 2013, March 14th, Alanna called the police to report that Batter was still harassing her. Just because I talked to her the day after she told me not to anymore doesn't mean I harassed her. She occasionally conversed with me via email and in person. It's not like she completely ignored me. Alanna received a disturbing email from Batter earlier that day, as well as a few others over the past few days. Probably a few of the ones that called her out on her bullshit, and perhaps they're disturbing because she disturbed me. Batter had also been waiting for her at the bus stop near her home. I wasn't waiting for her at the bus stop. I was waiting for the bus at the bus stop. Occasionally I'd arrived there coincidentally a few times before her, as my 9:30 a.m. Monday and Wednesday UBC tennis lessons coincided with some of her classes. In attempts to talk, we did talk. I asked her a few questions that she answered. And get on the bus with her. Didn't want to be late for my tennis lessons. On 2013, June 25th, police were called by Alanna stating that she had observed her Batter follow her from the bus stop at West 4th Avenue and Vine Street to her place of residence. She later admitted that she only thought I saw her exit the bus, like she assumed that I must have seen her and then planned to cross paths with her. You can't turn an assumption into a fact. I never saw her exit the bus, for I was stealing Wi-Fi at Culprit, where the bus stop is invisible. Batter was yelling at Alanna as she walked into the front entrance of her home. We were both yelling at each other. She initiated contact when she called me disgusting for blowing my nose, and then accused me of stalking her when I wasn't. I had just given her a handwritten apology letter and a diamond ring, and couldn't bottle Satan in a thin glass jar anymore. It exploded, and I had to stand up for myself. She waited for me to walk up to her, and I was going to walk past her home anyway for it was en route between mine and Culprit, where I was just at. Batter was observed by other neighbors inside the building and heard yelling outside. What they saw was out of context. Batter attempted to buzz himself into the building, but was unsuccessful. I didn't buzz to get inside the building. I would have followed her through her gate had I wanted to do that. I buzzed to ask her what she was doing, creepily waiting for me to walk up to her. Both were concerned for the actions carried out by Batter. Then don't creepily wait for me to walk up to you and insult me. And they stated they are uncomfortable going outside on a day-to-day basis, as Batter has been unpredictable as of late and will appear at various times on any particular day. Minding my own business, stealing Wi-Fi on benches, or around my favorite coffee shops whenever I felt like it. Batter has been given the criminal harassment warning on 3 separate occasions. The first one was nullified when Alanna agreed to hang out with me again. The second one was nullified when she occasionally continued to converse with me via email and in real life. The third one doesn't count because I made that the same night when the police came out of nowhere to bug me as I continued my journey home. Police then notified Alanna and her mother that there were significant grounds for a criminal charge against Batter, based upon lies, assumptions, and misunderstandings. Both Alanna and her mother agreed that this was the way that they wanted to proceed. Fucking bitch comes out of nowhere to insult me for blowing my nose, and I had just given her a handwritten apology letter and a diamond ring, and then agrees to have me charged with criminal harassment when I only stood up for myself. Bader was stalking his ex-girlfriend Alanna. I wasn't stalking her. She read all of my messages, occasionally conversed with me via email and in real life, accepted every letter and present that I gave her, and even wore the necklace. After she had told me that it's over forever, every time that I saw her, I'd coincidentally run into her, approached her from spotting her from afar, or she came out of nowhere to bug me. After she had told me that it's over forever, excluding one time that I hesitated, and one of the 2 times where she came out of nowhere to bug me, I happily walked away from her immediately when she told me to. I did follow her twice before she told me that it's over forever, but she never told me to go away, nor did she ever run. I only ever waited for her once, and that was to play a song for her that she likes with my saxophone in order to get her to talk. Most of the excessive phone calls were made before she had told me that it's over forever. I frequently walked around my own area to de-stress and sat on benches around my favorite coffee shops a lot to escape the nightmarish reality that she had bestowed upon me. Everything was nothing but an inflated misunderstanding, and it makes me sick. Bader had been continuously contacting Alanna. She continued to converse with me via email and in real life. Hell, she came out of nowhere to initiate contact twice. And following her to her residence. I didn't follow her to her residence. Her home was en route between Culprit, where I was, and mine. She actually waited for me to walk up to her before continuing on my way home. I was going to walk past it anyways, and she had synchronized our journeys. Technically, she was following me. Bader had followed Alanna from her bus stop at West 4th Avenue and Vine Street to her residence. I never even saw her exit the bus. Alanna herself admitted that she merely thought I saw her exit the bus, like she made the false assumption that I must have been planning to cross paths with her. Truth is, our paths almost crossing was merely coincidental, and we both thought that we were stalking each other. As she was about to turn left at her intersection, she looked right up to see me when she heard me blow my nose. That's when she assumed that I planned to cross paths with her and waited for me to walk up to her to yell at me. If I had planned to cross paths with her, why would I blow my cover by blowing my nose? I was looking down at the time when I heard her say, "Ew, that's disgusting." I looked up to see her looming in from the darkness and angrily crossing her arms. For all I know, she could have spied on me at Culprit until I left, and then planned to cross paths with me. After all, she knew I was there since her mom told her 3 hours in advance. Bader was yelling at Alanna as she walked into the front entrance of her home. We were yelling at each other. Bader was observed by neighbors inside the building and heard yelling outside. Bader attempted to buzz himself into the building, but was not successful. I didn't attempt to buzz myself into the building. I would have followed her through the gate had I actually wanted to go inside. I buzzed her to ask her what she was doing, waiting for me at the intersection. It was really weird and creepy. Alanna contacted the police as she was afraid for her safety and for that of her mother's. You later admitted that you don't think I would ever harm you, although it was stated numerously that you feared for your safety. It was also stated numerously that you did not fear for your safety. Had you truly feared for your safety, you wouldn't have waited to walk up with me at the intersection that night and insult me numerously. Stop playing the victim and stop making me feel like a freak. I actually had a bigger reason to fear for my safety, since you've actually hit me numerously and bit me in the past. Why is the mom even included in all of this? I never even wanted to talk to her. History of unwanted contact between Alanna and Bader. You mean all the messages you've read, including the ones you actually replied to negatively converse? You mean all the times you conversed with me in real life? All the times when you stopped to listen to what I had to say? What about the 2 times you came out of nowhere to initiate contact? One of your emails wasn't even a response. You actually started a new conversation when you ordered me to get Game Dude Official, a troll whom I have no control over, to take down your videos. You always wanted to know what I had to say. The contact was never truly unwanted. I never assaulted you, I never stalked you, I never harassed you. Shameless donkey. On 2013, July 2nd at 4:30, police immediately observed Alexander Bader sitting on the patio area to 49th Parallel, or Lucky's Donuts, coffee shop. Stealing Wi-Fi and minding my own business. Wearing the same clothes from yesterday. I do that sometimes. Bader was seated on the patio, not eating or drinking anything from the coffee shop. Sometimes I go to the coffee shops solely to steal Wi-Fi. He then got up and left on foot and attended the McDonald's on the block. Batter sat on the outside patio of McDonald's, facing east. Batter did not enter the McDonald's to purchase anything. I didn't like sitting around Lucky's Donuts anymore because I feared the police would come out of nowhere to bug me again. That's why I moved to McDonald's and I didn't want to buy food yet. I just wanted to steal Wi-Fi. It was later learned that the victim, Alanna, uses the bus stop in this block to attend school. Batter is aware that the victim uses this bus stop, and the police believe that he was in the area watching the bus stop looking for the victim. Batter did not even go inside of the McDonald's and set himself up to have the perfect view of the bus stop that he knows she frequents. Approximately 16:30 hours, so it was around 4:30 p.m., the bus stop she uses to attend school? Why would I guard the bus stop to school around 4:30 p.m.? Who goes to school around 4:30 p.m.? The bus stop from school would have been the better option to guard around that time, but it's invisible at that McDonald's. Besides, there was no school for it was summer break and my eyes were locked onto my iPhone. Fucking assholes. On 2013, July 1st, police received a call from Alanna's mother advising that Alexander Batter was in the area of her residence. I was in the area of our residences, just minding my own business. Alanna's mother was worried that Batter would follow her daughter around again. I never followed her again after she told me that it's over forever. Batter was located at Vine and 4th. You, not Vine. Batter provided a non-believable reason for being in the area. Why? Because I felt like buying a donut from Lucky's Donuts after surfing the internet for a while on a nearby bench and free, good Wi-Fi in the beautiful weather? Batter also advised that he did not see or talk to Alanna's mother or her daughter since the warning was given to him by the police on 2013, June 24th. Which led me to believe that Alanna was lying to the police. Why would they come out of nowhere to ask me if I had spoken to her earlier that day? The last time I had seen her was when she was waiting for me to walk up to her at her intersection. I had already told the police to tell her to leave me alone. I feared that she would keep lying to the police until they arrested me. I couldn't do anything in peace in my own area anymore, which was unfair. Police made numerous attempts to contact Alanna's mother to clarify circumstances surrounding today's call to 911, but were unable to make contact. Maybe they should have waited for that clarification before coming out of nowhere to question me with the false assumption that I had spoken to Alanna earlier that day. Obviously that made me believe that Alanna lied to them and she would continue lying until I got arrested. I was on those benches and sitting around coffee shops trying to escape the horrid reality that she bestowed upon me, including being trapped in her area, by surfing the internet, watching movies or video game playthroughs, talking loudly on Skype, or playing Mario Kart 7 online. I was so distraught that I didn't have the will to do anything else, but she couldn't even let me suffer in peace in my own area. It's my business if I want to sit around for hours on end, and not hers. I had told her what I was doing many times, and that I was not stalking her, but she refused to listen. She was standing right in front of me once while I was sitting on one of the benches, with my eyes locked onto my iPhone, and she could have been there for an hour before I had noticed her. That's when she kept yelling at me and told me to move away. Her mom came out of nowhere to bug me twice, she came out of nowhere to bug me twice, and the police came out of nowhere to bug me 3 times, the 3rd time to arrest me. All while I was just minding my own business. This is why I talked to her when I ran into her, or when I spotted her from afar a few times. I wanted to show her that I meant her no harm, and that I would leave immediately when asked, and always did just that. Near to the end, I happily showed her that I didn't give a shit if she wanted me to go away. She knew that all she ever had to do was to tell me to go away, and that I would completely. Therefore, she did not have to wait for me to walk up to her at the intersection and insult me. Especially since I had just given her a handwritten apology letter, even though I shouldn't have apologized at all, or at least waited for her to apologize first, and a diamond ring that I sold all of my consoles to buy. She knew that my sole objective was to simply make peace, but she insisted on war and trying to kick me out of my own area. Police again spotted Batter at Vine and 4th. That time I was near to it at a McDonald's, again stealing Wi-Fi on one of the outside chairs. I couldn't sit on those benches anymore because I kept fearing that the police would come out of nowhere again due to Alanna's continuous lying. Police called and at this time made contact with the daughter, Alanna, who advised that Batter sent her a disturbing email late last night. Yeah, to justifiably threaten her by telling her to stop calling the police, for I feared that she'd keep lying to them, or that I would send the tagged conversation to all of her friends. What else was I to do? I had told the police to tell her to leave me alone, but that did nothing. Had I done nothing, I feared that she would keep lying to the police until I got arrested anyway. My last resort was to threaten her to stop. Bader was arrested for criminal harassment and transported to jail. Unfortunately, that didn't work either, and they arrested me shortly after. I didn't follow through with the threat. It was not fair that, for a few months, I had a giant forbidden square placed right in front of my home, and I was banned from going to UBC. She cheated. She should have been banished. It was also unfair that I had to keep going to court, which kept getting adjourned. I had to constantly live in fear that I could eventually go to prison, and that I was robbed of being able to stand up for myself on the day of the trial, when the harassment case was dropped that morning. This was all a chain reaction, originating from the false assumption that the police had given me, due to a lack of clarification from a 911 call from the mom, that I had contacted Alanna earlier that day, when I didn't. They later learned that the call was merely due to my nearby existence in my own area, and nothing more. The email was disturbing because she disturbed me. With every reaction, there must have been an equal action. Nothing is random, dumb bitch. Alanna's mother called 911 reporting that Bader was in front of her home residence. Area of our home residences, you stupid bitch! And was fearful that Bader would once again follow her daughter around the area. Last time that I had done that was before she told me that it's over forever, and at that time, she never told me to go away. I would have had she done so. She never ran from me either. I never followed her after that night. She waited for me to walk up to her when I was just minding my own business. Police located Bader on a bench located on Vine and 4th. You, not Vine. Police attempted to call Alanna to get clarification as to what occurred today. No answer. Police requested radio attempt to call Alanna's mother back. No answer. And instead of waiting for that clarification, that's when they went for the false assumption that I had contacted Alanna earlier that day, when in actuality, the mom was annoyed that I was just sitting on those benches for a long time again, just minding my own damn business. Bader had stated that he lived in the area and was just surfing on the internet on the free Wi-Fi that was available at the bench. Bader was nervous, with hands shaking those times when talking to the police. Police always make me nervous because they're a bunch of unpredictable pigs. Bader stated that he liked the donuts from across the street, but when questioned if he had actually been at the restaurant for a donut, Bader said no. Maybe I was going to go to the restaurant after surfing the internet for a bit. Police asked Bader where home was for him. Bader stated that he did not want the police to know. Of course I didn't want them to know where I lived. I didn't want them to encircle my home like vultures and perhaps later arrest me after I thought Alanna lied and would continue to lie to them. Police advised Bader at that moment in time that police did not believe that he was in the area for the reasons he claimed, and without being able to verify that he lived in the area, police had no choice but to assume that he was there in the continued attempt to harass Alanna. All to trick me into believing that I had to tell them where I lived. I never harassed her. In fact, she had initiated contact the last time that I contacted her. Bader advised that he lived on 12th, but he did not remember his address. I just didn't want to give it to them. Bader also claimed that he had not seen or spoken with either Alanna or her mother since warned by the police on 2013, June 24th. You mean the day that Alanna waited for me to walk up to her at the intersection before hurling insults at me? Police attempted to call Alanna again, but to no answer. They should have gotten the clarification when they received the 911 call. Bader stated he was willing to accompany the police to his residence to prove that he had loved on the 12th as he claimed. After all attempts to contact Alanna were negative, police agreed to take Bader to his residence. Bader used a key from his pocket to unlock the front door. There you go, bitches! Bader was also advised to stay away from the area of Alanna's residence. To that, Bader stated that he liked to attend several of the businesses in that area, suggesting that he would continue to go into the area of 4th and Vine. I had the right to go wherever I wanted in my own area, and I wasn't going to let a cheating cunt deprive me of that. Bader had sent Alanna a disturbing email, which would have occurred shortly after the police had left Bader at his residence. Yeah, because that's when I feared she had lied to the police about contacting her earlier that day, and would continue to lie until I got arrested. Because the police were already on her side, I felt that I could only stop her with the justified threat that I would send the tagged conversation to all of her friends if she continued. I felt that I had to tell her as soon as possible. She didn't listen and called the police again to arrest me, but I feared that I had done nothing. She would have just kept lying to the police until they arrested me anyway. I felt trapped and didn't know what else to do. Police arrested Bader at a nearby McDonald's restaurant while he sat at the outside of a patio area, facing the bus stop in front of the neighboring Safeway. Paranoid fucks. My eyes were almost always locked onto my iPhone. Bader made several unsettling statements about Alanna, suggesting that he was very much obsessed with her. Obsessed with what she did to me, and she did a lot. One of the more unsettling statements he made was, "She'll immediately fuck up the first guy she meets. I know it." The tagged conversation is evidence of this. The first 2 letters she typed cheated on me. "Wanna make out sometime this week?" the troll asked. "Okay," she replied. A few lines later and she agreed to fuck him at his house immediately after coffee in a few days. Then she actually tried to meet him. Remember, this guy was a troll. How empty was his profile? Did he even have a picture? Bader also stated that he had lost the will to live over this and confirmed he was feeling suicidal. "I discovered that my first love and best friend for around 3 years is the easiest girl in the world. Then my other 2 good friends fucked off. Then I hated my parents for circumcising me. I literally had to wipe my entire slate clean from everyone I ever knew in my life. I was alone in hell." Despite several continued attempts to try to focus Bader away from Alanna with comments like, "You really need to move past this and move on with your life. You need to meet someone who will be the right one for you and not consume your life with the past," Bader would simply focus on Alanna and replied with comments like, "This is inevitable. This is because of her." It basically was inevitable, and it was all because of her. Either I risked going to jail by justifiably threatening her to stop continuing to lie to the police, or I risked going to jail by simply doing nothing and allowing her to continue to lie to the police. It was a lose-lose situation that I wouldn't have faced had the police not given me the false assumption that I contacted her earlier that day. Alanna expressed fear that Bader may become even more unpredictable and feared he may harm her as a result of the now arrest. She later admitted in an interview that she did not believe I would harm her. "Stop playing the victim, you lying cunt." Police advised both that they would be requesting conditions as to keep Bader away from both of them. Ah, the many months of the dreadful Forbidden Square being placed right in front of my house and being banned from UBC. Police were disturbed both by the amount of incidents and the duration this has been going on for, all of which are nothing but blown-out misunderstandings stretched over a long period of time. Alanna's mother stated that she had not reported several sightings of Bader, just this week alone, but would provide a written statement detailing to the best of her recollection the times and days, all sightings basically within 1 block of their building. "See? She monitored me like a hawk when I was merely minding my own business in my own area, and I felt it. Isn't it odd, though, that they saw me many more times than I saw them? Perhaps that's because my eyes were almost always locked onto my iPhone." Both Alanna and her mother claimed that they were fearful of what Bader might do in the future, and confirmed they were fearful for their safety. Yet it is stated numerously that they were not fearful for their safety. Contradicting cunts. "I have lost the will to live." I did. "I don't care if I go to jail." I did nothing wrong, so whatever happened was beyond my control, and therefore I had no reason to care. "I live in the area and I'll just come right back." Why not if it's my area too? She had messed me up beyond belief. For 4 years, she was my first girlfriend. She truly has done too much. She's just fucking random strangers. She was, and probably continues to do so. On 2013, July 8th, Alanna called 911 to report that Alexander's friends were calling her and telling her that he was distraught, crying, and that they should get back together. I had nothing to do with that. All I did was tell my story to everyone, trolls and fans, on Skype. A few of those trolls that had heard my story probably got her number untagged, she gives it out immediately, and then trolled her for laughs. Thanks for making me look bad, guys. I'm still glad they bothered her though, and the whole thing is pretty funny. There is no condition that states indirect contact, and police cannot verify if Bader requested his friends to contact Alanna. Had nothing to do with it. Didn't even know what happened until the trolls told me about it on Skype, which was just hours after my roommate told me that the police had visited my home regarding a bunch of phone calls. Police attended Bader's residence 2 times throughout the day to speak with him about the incident, but were unsuccessful. This is why I didn't want them to know my address. Bullshit like this. Police attempted to contact Alanna, but were unable to, as her cell phone inbox was full. Thanks to the trolls. Lols. Where's the part where they, without a warrant, broke into my home and handcuffed me? Sure, the door was unlocked, but I never invited them inside. It's not like you can walk up to a random house and walk inside if the door is unlocked.